What's that old saying? They don't make things like they used to. Well, Lamborghini certainly hasn't for a number of years. Ferrari almost as long. And sadly, we just recently added to that list something that I love, the Plastic Fantastic from Kentucky. However, there is one holdout. She's from Zuffenhausen. And today, you and I have the opportunity to exercise our left leg and drive something made like they used to. Yes, I have waited over a year and a half for this glorious moment. Yet I am going to endeavor to put aside my incredible excitement and attempt a scientific approach in evaluating this transmission in this carrying case. With that, it feels good to be home again. Push a little harder up the hill here, come out of the turn. Let's hold that gear a little bit longer because we can. And then third gear. God, that feels good. Something rather important to point out here, this is the Carrera S, which means it's the same engine, same output, 443 horsepower. So really, this is the only difference, the transmission. Well, on second thought, there are some others. You may remember the cars fitted with a PDK, those have an E-diff fitted as standard. This does not. You can't even get an E-diff. This one instead has a mechanical old school limited slip differential that's paired with Porsche torque vectoring that's fitted as standard. And then there are certain options you can't get in a car that has a manual transmission. Adaptive cruise control, kind of for obvious reasons. And then we haven't driven one in a Porsche, but you know the augmentation to adaptive cruise control where it takes into account the metadata from navigation or the speed limits, that kind of stuff? That's called Porsche InnoDrive. That's not available here as well. However, another really big change that is fitted as standard, Sport Chrono on all cars with a manual transmission. So why a Sport Chrono standard on a manual and not on a PDK? Well, it's all about rev matching. So a PDK, that automatically rev matches right out of the box. This, it needs the Sport Chrono to be able to do the rev matching. And frankly, I have no problem with that change because effectively you are trading a more expensive gearbox for the wonder that is adjustable engine mounts. Oh, and a cool clock on the dash. And now I come to you with good news as well as a side dish of bad news. Let's start with the good. The manual transmission is on offer in multiple derivations of the 992. Let's go through the list. The 992 Carrera 2S as well as the Carrera 4S, both hardtop. Then the convertible Carrera 2S, the car we are driving, and the convertible Carrera 4S. And then my favorite derivation, the Targa 4S. I was a little bit worried that one wouldn't make the cut. Now the bad news. At least currently, there are no other 992s that can be had with a manual transmission. Now, an asterisk here. If I'm looking into my crystal ball, I absolutely see a GT3 as well as a GT3 Touring in the 992 range that will have manual transmissions. I do not see them repeating the mistake they did with a 991. However, if you are really focused on a 992 Turbo S with a manual transmission, I wouldn't hold my breath. Now, aside from those differences, there are a couple of performance differences. The top speed, that hasn't changed. It's a tick over 190. 0 to 60, that changes it. It depends on which car. So a hardtop 2 or 4-wheel drive, that's 0.2 of a second slower to 60 at 4 seconds. And then the convertible and the Targa, obviously, they're a little bit heavier. Those are also 0.2 of a second slower to 60, and that's at 4.2 seconds. Yes, it is that time again to play your favorite game of mine, the options game, with today's contestant, something that looks eerily similar to not one, but two recent contestants here on the show. But I promise you, it is not the same vehicle, not by a long shot. So let's just dive right in here for a 2020 Porsche 911 Carrera S Cabriolet 992 Series. Translated, that means two-wheel drive. For a base price of $126,100. To that, we add the reason why it looks so similar to not one, but two previous contestants. stunning shade of gentian blue metallic. I can see why someone in Atlanta at Porsche Cars North America chooses this so frequently for a bargain of $830. Then we move into the land of no creativity. Why would you select this stunning color and then waste it with a black roof? Yes, the black roof is free, but it is awful, especially considering the stunning interior choice of slate gray, and unlike our recent contestant, this one has chalk stitching for $3,830. So if you're gonna put almost $4 grand into a interior color, you had best pick a better color roof. Then we add a very important option, rear axle steer, transforms these cars, $2,090. The sport exhaust technically is standard, but you can select the silver tailpipes, that is $0. Then we move on to another option that differentiates this from the other gentian blue 992 Cabriolet we recently drove. The wheel finish, it's different here. Same wheels, but the wheels are finished in satin platinum. Looks stunning, $1,290. And then an incredibly important option for these cars, front axle lift system. I do not understand why this is optional, because you're either going to pay Porsche $2,770 or you're going to pay your favorite body man multiples of that to fix the front end damage of your car over the life of the car with you. Then the cooled seats, $840. The trim on the dash, this one was finished in brushed aluminum. That is extra, $1,260. May I make a suggestion here? I kind of twisted a friend's arm who recently got one of these things. He has a lot of creativity, and he got the wood dash. Yes, you can get a wood dash in a 992. It looks stunning. May I suggest that instead of the brushed aluminum? Then another suggestion, this car is fitted with the Bose stereo. It does just fine. However, the Burmester does better than fine. This is much cheaper than the Burmester at $1,600. And then the absolute most important option in this car is the 7-speed manual transmission, which thankfully costs $0. To that, we add the 18-way power seats, $3,470. And then the sport package, but not just a sport package, it's the sport package with the PASM Sport suspension. That lowers the ride height by 10 mils, makes a very big difference here. $3,390. I don't know about you, but every option here is just north of $3,000. The delivery fee, $1,350, for a total suggested retail price of $148,820. And then there's the obvious question of shifter feel, and God, that sounds good. And this, we could be excited about having this because really it's the only option with a manual transmission in this stratosphere. So this could be crap and we'd still be thankful. But thankfully, it ain't crap. The shifter feel is wonderful, the throws aren't long, the pedal is actually kind of light to such an extent that, yes, I am biased. I would drive this on a daily basis with this manual transmission without a doubt. However, those kind of on the edge, I don't think they would have a problem dailying this transmission because of the combination of the feel of the gearbox and the weight of the pedal. I promised you earlier in the episode that I would remain scientific in our approach in evaluating the manual transmission derivation of the 992. So, in keeping with that theme, I found something scientific. This is lighter with a manual transmission. Not by a lot, 85 pounds, but it still brings the weight of a hardtop Carrera 2S below 3,300 pounds, 3,298 pounds to be exact. You may remember a couple of years back, right after we drove the 991.2 Targa, we had a good chat with Achim. He's kind of like the godfather behind making 911s do what they do. And I had a small request for him. I said, hey, can we have a GT3 touring Targa? Well, not that I'm offended, but he laughed in my face. However, 2 years after that, what did we get? The 991.2 Speedster, which, if you couldn't tell, is a GT3 touring convertible. So, in the 992 world, Achim, can we have a GT3 touring 992 Targa manual? Vielen Dank.